Hello, my name is Samantha Ashford,
Hi, I'm Jenna Nash.
And I'm Annie Hogland.
and we're counselors at MDUSD. Today, we're presenting on Mindset Matters. We're taking a look a little bit deeper into the difference between fixed and growth mindset. Our objectives, we're going to learn the difference between fixed and growth mindset, understand how these mindsets affect how we learn, as well as what we can do at home to instill a growth mindset. So what's a mindset? Mindsets are a belief that you have about yourself and your abilities. So your beliefs shape your attitudes. So that's basically how you believe, your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude also shapes your belief. And that is what we have, your mindset. So what's a fixed mindset? So a fixed mindset are traits that you have, and they are qualities that you believe that are inborn, they're fixed and they're unchangeable. And some of those is you already see the cup that is half full, you reject new ideas, and that you believe that you set some limitations to yourself, you're afraid to fail, you are afraid to even make mistakes, and that you're fear of not living up to those expectations. So what's a growth mindset? People with growth mindsets, they believe that they can develop the abilities to perform, such as they don't see mistakes as a setback. They see mistakes as a challenge, an opportunity to better themselves. They try new things. They're not afraid to fail. They see challenges as opportunities to learn and to grow. They're open to feedback. And we have some famous people that have shown us the difference between fixed and growth mindset, and we'll talk a little bit about that in our video. So for example, the difference between fixed and growth is, we have a student says, I'm not good at math. I hate math. It's hard for me. And the student feels that they're terrible no matter what they do. It's just not their strong suit or their strong subject. But a student with a growth mindset says, you know what? It's really hard for me, but I can do this. I made some mistakes. Let me see how I can change it. What can I do to learn? And by working hard and not giving up, they'll be able to conquer the challenges and also take on any new opportunities and achieve their goals. So let's take a look and think about, what kind of mindset do you have? Do you have a growth mindset, or do you have a fixed mindset? So to go over, if you have a growth mindset, you'll tell yourself, I can learn anything I want. When I'm frustrated, I persevere. I want to challenge myself. When I fail, I learn. How can I try harder? How can I be inspired? How can I put more effort and attitude in determining what I do? Is that something that you talk to yourself to? Is that something that you say to yourself to help? Or do you say, I'm not good at this, so I'm not going to even try. I'm frustrated, whatever, I'm over it. Or I don't like to be challenged, it's too hard. I failed, I'm not going to try. I can't do this. I don't have the ability to do this. Is that how you talk to yourself? Is that something that goes over in your mind? So look at the difference.
So, why does this matter? And why are we even talking about this? So, the reason why is that we want to teach our students to have a growth mindset, to work through challenges and overcome that adversity that they might experience in the classroom. We do want our students to try new things, to embrace challenges, and ultimately develop a really strong confidence in themselves. We have a short video for you to watch that's a little inspiring and can tell you that you can learn anything.
Nobody's born smart. all start at zero. Can't talk, can't walk, certainly can't do algebra. Adding, reading, riding a bike. Nobody's good at anything at first. There was a time when Einstein couldn't count to 10. Shakespeare had to learn his ABCs just like the rest of us. Thankfully, born to learn. Slowly, surely, you stumble, slip, crawl, fall, and fail, and fall. Frustrating, confusing, trying, struggling, until one day, you walk. One foot in front of the other, one idea on top of the next. Each wrong answer making your brain a little bit stronger. Failing is just another word for growing. You keep going. This is learning. Knowing that you'll get it, even if you haven't gotten it yet. Because the most beautiful, complex concepts in the whole universe are built on basic ideas that anyone, anywhere, can understand. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you only have to know one thing. You can learn anything.
Awesome. So then some of the research behind this is about the brain and how it's like a muscle. We don't just grow our muscles by not doing anything. It takes effort and you have to use it. And so that's just a little bit about the brain. So to go into it a little bit deeper and to explain it a little bit more and give the research and the science behind a growth mindset, in our brain, inside the cortex, there's all these little cells that are called neurons, and they have branches, and these branches are able to communicate with one another in kind of like a network. And this allows us to think and solve problems. And so when you learn new things, these connections actually multiply and they get stronger. So the more you challenge your mind, the more your brain cells grow. So here's another short video clip about a growth mindset and to help explain more about that research and the science.
Do you know this guy? Need some hints? As a kid, he struggled with school. He dropped out of college after only 6 months, and for money, would return Coke bottles for 5-cent refunds. Okay, one more. He helped found a company called Apple. You see, Steve Jobs wasn't born rich or a genius, but he did have a growth mindset. Simply put, a growth mindset means that with effort, you can train your brain to get smarter. That's right. Scientists have learned that a human brain acts a lot like a muscle, and using your brain can actually cause it to grow and even get heavier. You see, when you learn new things, tiny connections in the brain multiply. A stronger, smarter brain. As a result, that it takes effort to train your brain. Start by exploring new information. Learning something new can be scary, and you might get frustrated, but it's only because you haven't yet made the connections your brain needs. It's up to you to take charge. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Just like exercising your body, repeating an action builds strength. Read, write, or say something important at least 5 to 10 times to make it stick. Most importantly, don't give up. When something is hard, that's when you need more effort, not less, to build those connections in the brain. Say, here's one more. Do you know this person? Need a hint? The growth mindset, they can train their brain to become stronger and smarter.
So the steps to a growth mindset, to put it simply, is the first thing is we learn about our brain, which we just did. The next is we learn about mindsets, growth versus fixed. The next is we have to change our self-talk. We have to recognize our inner voice and what we're saying to ourselves and potentially change that language. And then the fourth thing is that we have to set goals for ourselves. We have to set a goal to achieve something, but also set a goal to change our language and make that a priority. So this is just an example, and we actually have an activity for you to do at home that relates to this slide, where you and your student will have the opportunity to come up with ways to change your language. And I'll just give you a few examples reading off of this, but instead of saying something like, I'm not good at this, you want to change that and say, what am I missing in this? Like, why am I not getting this? Another example is that I made a mistake, getting really hard on yourself for that mistake. But then we also need to say to ourselves, you know what, mistakes help me learn, and that's how I'm going to change that self-talk. So if you want to reference the slide when you're doing that activity, this could be a really useful tool. And then another awesome tool to use with a growth mindset is called the power of yet. And that is super simple, and it's adding the word yet onto a sentence, and it helps children reframe the understanding of themselves and their abilities. So it's kind of about how practice makes perfect. And so when you say like, I can't do this, we want to say yet, because we will learn how to do it. Maybe right now we don't feel like we can, but in the future with practice and effort, we will be able to. So just a simple tool, and that can really help at home, is just adding that power of yet.
Okay, and here are some ways you can help your child at home. So one thing is talk about it with your child. Talk about, what did you learn today? What was hard today? What mistakes did you make today? And what did you learn from those mistakes? Mistakes are actually good. And if you talk about mistakes in a positive way with your child, it can help them reframe their understanding of what it means to fail, where maybe failure becomes not even trying rather than making a mistake. So encourage mistakes. Talk about how mistakes help you learn and help you grow. Praise the process. So instead of telling your child, you're so smart or you're great at math, you know, something that's more fixed, and praise the process and encourage their effort. You know, praise them for trying rather than the outcome. Remind your child that their brain can grow. Intelligence is not fixed. So when they try new things, when they challenge themselves, when they make mistakes, they're actually they're connecting more neurons in their brain, and their brain's growing. And then help them change their dialogue. So this is the positive self-talk piece. So if you find your child saying, this is too hard, I can't do this, you know, remind them to say these examples in this presentation, you know, I can't do this yet, or this is hard right now, but if I keep trying, I will get it. Okay, so it's all about trying to stay positive. So we have an activity here that you can do with your child at home, and it's just practicing different examples of things that sometimes students and children say, and practicing how to reframe them and turn it into a positive or more of a growth mindset sentence frame. So some examples: instead of saying, I'm not good at this, teach them to say, okay, what am I missing? What's making this hard, and how can I learn more? Even if your child's saying, I'm awesome at this, that's also a fixed mindset, right? So you can teach them to say, okay, I'm on the right track, right? I'm practicing and I'm putting in the effort and I'm doing a good job. I give up, right? Sometimes students will say that. So we want to teach them to say, okay, I'm going to use some other strategies. I'm going to try it a different way. Not that I'm just going to give up completely. So where it says, now you try, these are some examples of sentence frames that you can maybe do over the dinner table or before bed. Practice these with your children. You know, tell them, okay, if you tell yourself in your mind, I made a mistake, how can you reframe that? How can you turn that into a positive and more of a growth mindset kind of sentence frame? Here are some more discussion questions you can practice at home. So these are just examples of situations that you can give your children and have them practice turning it into a positive. So for example, Sophie's mom asks her to clean her room, but Sophie knows it's going to take her a couple of hours. What can Sophie say to herself? So can she say, oh, that's too hard, I'm not even going to try, like that's going to take forever? Could she say to herself, you know, I'm going to put in the effort, it might take a while, but I know I can do it, right? So it's you can give these situations to your children and talk about what are some ways that you could turn this into a positive using a growth mindset. So I won't read all of them. You can read them and you can go through them together at home. So we like this little acronym here, FAIL, and it's something you can use, you can remind your children to use when things get challenging and hard. So FAIL doesn't refer to failure, it just refers to the first attempt in learning, right? So if your child feels like, oh man, I really didn't do a good job at that, I failed at something, remind them that was just your first attempt, right? Learning is all about practice and you got to keep trying. So FAIL, first attempt in learning, remind your children of that. On that note, if you've never failed, you've never lived. So this is a video, really cool video about a lot of famous celebrities and, you know, sports stars and things who have achieved greatness, but they didn't do it right away. They had a growth mindset and they kept trying. So we're gonna show this video really quickly. And this is a good one to show your kids too, because I think it gives a nice representation of how growth mindset can really help you succeed.
After being cut from his high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. He wasn't able to speak until he was almost 4 years old, and his teachers said he would never amount to much. Was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for television. Fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no original ideas. At age 11, he was cut from his team after being diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency, which made him smaller in stature than most kids his age. At 30 years old, he was left devastated and depressed after being unceremoniously removed from the company he started. A high school dropout whose personal struggles with drugs and poverty culminated in an unsuccessful suicide attempt. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything and that he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Rejected by Decca Recording Studios, who said, "We don't like their sound. They have no future in show business." His first book was rejected by 27 publishers. His fiancée died, failed in business, had a nervous breakdown, and was defeated in 8 elections.
was just a cool video, I think, that really highlights how important it is to have a growth mindset and how it really helps you succeed. So in summary, how do I build a growth mindset? So this is just some quick little review tips here. So you want to look for ways to improve, not give up, persevere, add yet to the end of your sentences. You know, I can't do this yet, but I'm going to keep trying, keep practicing. Remember, exercise, it's like exercise for the brain. Try a different strategy if the first one wasn't working. Use positive self-talk. Remind yourself you can do hard things. Focus on the effort. Set goals for yourself that are specific and doable. Learn from your mistakes and view challenges as opportunities to grow. These are 5 things to say to yourself when you're feeling discouraged. And remember, it's normal to feel that way sometimes. Everybody does. But tell yourself, yes, this is tough, but so am I. I may not be in control of the situation, but I am in charge of how I respond. I haven't figured this out yet, but if I keep trying, I will. This challenge is here to teach me something, right? We learn from every challenge we face. And all I need to do is take it one step at a time, breathe, and do the next right thing. We wanted to give you some resources to take away. So this is just a list of some helpful smartphone apps. So if you have like an Android or an iPhone, you can look for these apps. A lot of them are free. They may charge a little bit for extras, but most of them are free, at least at the start. These are some helpful websites if you want to check out more about growth mindset and a little bit about mindfulness too. We have some in English and then some in Spanish. So feel free to check those out. On our presentation, there's clickable links. So if you click on one of these websites, it'll take you, or click on one of the names of the websites, it'll take you right to the website. And then we also have a list of books here to help you out if you want to learn more through reading. These books on this slide are for the children, for your kids to read. So books for lower grades, for elementary age students, and then books for the upper grade levels here. And again, the name of the book is a clickable link, so it will take you right to information on that book. And then here are some books for parents. So parents, if you're interested in learning more about growth mindset, you can go here, again, clickable links, it'll take you right to it. And then there's also some book recommendations here in Spanish. And then we wanted to leave you with a resources slide in Spanish. This is just a really great graphic of the difference between fixed mindset and growth mindset in Spanish, and just some examples, so check that out. And just in closing, we want to remind you, in the spirit of Red Ribbon Week, that being healthy and having a healthy body is about what you put in your body, what you eat, you know, the substances you consume, but it's also about what you're thinking and feeling and saying to yourself, especially in these COVID times. It's so important to keep our emotional health, our mental health strong. So thank you so much for coming and viewing our presentation on growth mindset. If you want to reach out to us, if you have questions or you want to talk more, our email addresses are here. And we hope you have a great rest of your day. And thanks for checking us out.